What does it mean to be human? One of my favorite themes to explore in all media, everything, is just the human condition, and to put it simply, what does it mean to be human? I think it's just really interesting to see how we all have these different life experiences, come from these insanely different backgrounds, all grow up completely different ways, yet at the end of the day, we all feel and think the same ways about certain things. I don't know why. That's just so interesting to me that we can be so disconnected yet connected at the same time. And one thing that I really enjoyed being able to do is read some mangas that explore this theme. So today I just kind of want to highlight some of those. I feel like this video would be completely invalid if I didn't start off with these two. So I want to highlight two series from Makoto Yukimura, so Planetes and Vinland Saga. Yukimura said in an interview one time that he likes to write stories about life, death, and love. And I mean, I feel like if you've read either of these two, you know exactly that that's completely the truth, because I mean, like, that's like the entire thing that he focuses on. So Vinland Saga especially has a special place in my heart. It always will. I love reading about how Thorfinn battles with his inner struggles between wanting revenge and wanting to do the right thing, but also still having those feelings of like hatred and malice. I don't know, I just find it super relatable, just him on his kind of journey to become a better person. It's definitely hard to fight your inner desires and do something that is completely counter of what you think you should be doing in your head. And then with Planetes here, I think it does a great job of just highlighting how humans interact with each other, even in something like the emptiness and sparseness of space. No matter what crazy environment you live in, you can still forge great bonds and relationships with the people around you. It's just kind of hard sometimes, depending on your situation, to feel like you're really at home or you feel like you're in a good spot. But I think just having other people around you that are in the same boat is just so helpful. So whenever I was reading Planetes, I just loved the feeling of just like, we're in this together, and no matter what happens around us, like, we have each other's backs and we love each other. And I just think that's such an amazing feeling. Okay, so next up, I'm sure everybody knew this one was coming, judging by the beginning of the video, but I have Homunculus. This story, I'm not very far into it yet, like I haven't completed or anything, but just from the very beginning, I know that this is like a perfect example of what I'm talking about in this video. Just seeing Nikoshi as he views people at their like most vulnerable part of their life, like seeing their deepest insecurity about themselves, and just how like he's able to interact with that version of themselves even if they're trying to hide it away. I think that's just such a like interesting thing to read about. Also, I think this just does a really good job of humanizing Nikoshi, especially like just the times where it's just kind of like a filler little like section where he's just driving in his car. Like, I guess filler is not really a good word for it, like just the little times in between stuff where he's just driving in his car, listening to music, just being a human, just being a normal person. I think that gives a really good like humanization to his character, because some of the stuff that he does is not human like at all when he's seeing these weird visions and hallucinations. So definitely I would say Homunculus does a good job of just showing how our brain dictates our emotions and just how we feel in general, just by what we think about and what we feel about certain things. Okay, so this next one is another one that I hold really dear to my heart. I think I relate a lot to it, and I'm sure a lot of other people do, but I have Mob Psycho 100. Obviously, while Mob's psychic powers are not human-like at all, his emotions and how he feels about certain things are very human. I find myself, my early high school and my like middle school self especially, like really relating to Mob and the things that one has, the experiences that he has Mob experiencing in his manga. So just reading this just really like hit me deep whenever I'm go back to these same struggles that I had in middle school. I'm seeing Mob experience the same things, except he has the added stress of like he's gonna blow up if he doesn't like cool down his nerves. But yeah, I just love how Mob Psycho deals with processing your emotions in a correct way and not just like ignoring them and bottling them up, because something that I definitely struggle with is just like being able to like validate my emotions and not just brush them off. and act like they're not happening. I just really personally relate to Mob especially a whole lot, so that's why I love this series so much, and I think it really fits really well here. Alright, next up I have Frieren Beyond Journey's End. This is a series that I think does a really good job of exploring just the morality of humans, and how life is such a life is a vapor, and this series really does a good job driving that point home. It follows Frieren, who is an elf mage, and in this world elves live hundreds of years, so human lifespan is like barely scratching the surface of their lifespan, so she kind of takes for granted being with her companions as she goes on this quest, and then as she sees them age and die, that's when it really starts to hit her about how life is such a precious thing and that it's not gonna be here forever. I feel like I can definitely relate to this because no matter how fast time moves outside of me, sometimes you get caught up in the little things of life or just like anything, and time is moving but you're not really paying attention to it, so then you like open your eyes, you look up, and then all of a sudden this many years have passed and you're just like whoa, like where did it all go? So I think this does a really good job of exploring like, dang, like time moves no matter what. There's nothing we can do to stop the passage of time, so we need to take advantage while we have it and not just let it go to waste. This last series is a little bit more unheard of than the other ones I've talked about, and it's called The Son of the Gods. This one does a really good job of just exploring what drives humans. I think it's so interesting to see that like something that really motivates me may not motivate somebody else, and vice versa. So it's crazy how some things work for some people and some things don't. Kind of what I was talking about at the beginning. It's interesting to see how we have similar experiences and we have experiences that couldn't be more different. And I think this one does a good job of showing that some things really drive people and some things just don't at all. This is also a very like emotionally like relatable story. Like I'm definitely not one to be a mountain climber. Like I've never really done anything like rock climbing, anything like that, but just seeing like the main character's emotions as he's climbing Mount Everest is something that I feel like I can relate to on a personal level, even though I've never attempted to climb Mount Everest. It's just like that that spiritual mountain that you're climbing, that emotional like metaphorical mountain that you're climbing. You can see that in him as he's actually climbing the mountain, or you can see yourself as he's climbing the mountain. So just a really cool like metaphor for like getting over hurdles and stuff like that. So yeah, that does it for the video. I appreciate you guys checking it out. I just kind of want to get on here and just talk about some things that I've been enjoying recently. Like I said, I just think it's such an interesting thing to explore, interesting theme to like read about. So kind of just wanted to like tie that in with manga because there's a lot of mangas that really explore that topic very well. Let me know down in the comments about some that I didn't talk about or that I missed, because I'd love to look into them and see what they're all about, especially if they're similar to the kind of the ones that I mentioned today. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching.